The devil never questions who Jesus is. He wants Jesus to question who he is. I've never been back to a high school reunion. And I don't think I'll ever go back to a high school reunion. I watch on Facebook as these reunions post and images are put online, and the same people who were popular back then are the people who come back to the reunions. And it's interesting, the women look a lot the same. The men, not so much. Must be our hair loss. But I've been thinking a lot about that early time in my life, and I remember in particular my Eagle Scout Border Review. Now, when you finished your Eagle Scout badge, you go before a group of adults, parents largely, and other volunteer leaders who question you on everything that you've ever done in the scouting program. Anything is fair game. You can have to tie a knot, you might have to demonstrate some other skill, but every merit badge, every rank, every advancement, all of that is on the table for you to demonstrate that you have mastered it, that you are indeed an Eagle Scout. And one of the things that they can ask you about is the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. I was ready. I was prepared. I knew my stuff, and I went into that border review confident that I wasn't going to have any trouble at all. Until one of the dads blindsided me. One of the tenets of the Scout Oath is to keep yourself physically strong. And that dad looked at me and said, "You really haven't kept that part of the Scout Oath, have you?"
Nice.
Now, what he meant by that was, you're not on the football team, you're not on the basketball team, or you're not on the baseball team. That's how young men in our community demonstrated physical prowess and ability. Now, never mind the fact that I had just completed a 50-mile canoeing trip, or that I went every weekend hiking and camping, or that I would spend future summers all summer long teaching scouts how to swim and life save and row and canoe and small boat sail and motorboat and ski, but I didn't fit his box of what physical fitness was. I found myself completely bowled over, flabbergasted, not knowing quite what to say. And now reflecting back, I knew it was just a jab, because he really didn't want the question answered. The silence was left in the room for a minute, and they just went on with the rest of the examination, which I passed. You see, the evil one didn't question who Jesus was. He knew full well who Jesus was. He wanted Jesus to question who he was. And the evil one knows full and well who you are. But the evil one wants you to question who you are. You see, the world spends all its time trying to put you and me in a box. It tries to label who we are. You are this, or you aren't that. You are identified by whatever label people want to put on you. Marketing and advertising try to shift our opinions one way or another. Political parties try to wedge us into their viewpoints. The idea that you might be uniquely created by God, and no one before you or after you has ever been like you, and that you in your unique creation have a purpose and a plan that God has for you, is something the world finds incredibly threatening. Just as God said to Jesus when he was with John in the Jordan River, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." God says to each of us in our baptism, "You are my beloved, you are my chosen, in you I am well pleased. You bear my image and likeness, and you have a task and a purpose that I give you." Perhaps this Lent, we need not worry so much about whether we are or aren't eating candy, or whether we are or aren't taking on or doing certain things. Maybe the most important thing we can do this Lent is to stop listening to the whispers and the lies that the evil one offers us. Whispers that come into our mind that may be of our own making, or may be hauntings from our parents, our friends, our neighbors, our siblings, our peers, our culture, our society. Maybe the best thing we can do is to take time away to stop listening to what the world says we are, what the world says we ought to be, and to take time to listen to that still small voice of the God who created you and me, who says you are precious, you are unique, you are one of a kind, you are chosen, and I send you to change the world. The evil one knows full well who you are. The evil one knows full well the power that you will be in this world if you listen to God and not the whispers around you. The evil one will spend all his time feeding you lies and deceptions. For the evil one is afraid of who you are in Christ Jesus, who you will become, what you can do to change the world for God. May this Lent we stop listening to the lies inside us and around us. For you are God's chosen. In you, God is well pleased.